Hello and welcome to Stories to Fall Asleep To, the second season of Reading with Cari. This Mindfulness Podcast incorporates ASMR elements to help reduce your stress, relieve your anxiety, and lull you to sleep. I am your host, Cari Favole, and I am so thankful that you've decided to spend some time with me. New episodes air every Wednesdays on any device you listen to podcasts. Click the link in the description to find the podcast now. Thank you and enjoy. So this story is a little short, but I think it is so relevant to what's going on in today's environment. And this podcast is not meant to cause you any anxiety or stress, so I won't get into the specifics, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. But before we begin, as always, let's start with a breathing exercise. This exercise is the senses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are going to focus on one at a time, but first, let's start with a brief breathing exercise. Close your eyes and breathe deeply with a pause on an inhale all the way in, and a pause as you finish exhaling all the way out. Remember to center on the here and now. Focus on the breath passing in your lungs through to the heart. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Out, 2, 3, 4. Feel the breath enter through your nostrils or in your mouth, through your throat, into your lungs. Or maybe deep below into your diaphragm tummy area. And exhale, feel the air leave your body. Take a moment to feel where you are in your position, whether you're laying down or seated. Feel where your hands are, what your fingertips are feeling. If your hand is out relaxed, maybe put 2 fingers together, your thumb and your middle finger, and just gently rub them together and feel that sensation. Where are your feet? Can they be grounded on what you're sitting on or on the floor? Or maybe you're laying all the way down and you can just feel your heels laying on the bed. Just feel grounded and sink deeper into the bed or into the chair or on the ground, wherever you are. Relax your shoulders as you breathe deeply in and deeply out. Now, open your eyes and focus on what's around you. We're going to follow a pattern. So first, pick 5 things around you of one color. The first color your eye catches, red, blue, green, doesn't matter. Just whatever your eye catches. Focus on 5 things of that same color. If you're colorblind, try to find items that have the same shade of gray. They look like they would be the same color. I know that might be hard. Okay, did you find 5 things? Now let's listen for 4 different sounds. Can you hear your breathing? Is your stomach gurgling? Maybe you can hear a clock or a bird chirping. I'll give you a little time so you can hear that, although I guess my voice could count too. Now, without moving, so this might be kind of tricky, pick 3 things to touch. If you're in a bed, maybe touch the sheets and touch a pillow and maybe your nightstand. Or if you're sitting at a desk, touch the chair. Is there maybe a drink next to you can touch? Really take a moment with each of these 3 items and feel the sensation that they give your fingertips. Is it smooth? Is it soft? Is it rough and grainy? If you can't find a 3rd item, just run your hand along your arm. Remember that you probably have the phone right next to you, or a mouse if you're on the computer. Okay? And now this one, it gets trickier as we go along. This one, we're going to pick 2 smells. You can move around for this one if you want to. We're trying to find 2 smells in the room. And you're going to find an item maybe some perfume, or a food item if you're eating. Maybe you have a drink nearby. I'm drinking coffee, and it has a hazelnut flavor in the back. So I get the lovely coffee ground smell and the sweetness of the hazelnut. You can smell your pillow, or if you have a pet, I always like sniffing my dog's fur. Might be a little weird, but she's so comforting. Her feet emanate this nice snuggle smell, is what I call it. Once again, you can use your body if you need to. Maybe smell your armpit. We can have fun while we're doing this. We don't have to be so serious. Are these smells sweet or sour to you? So if you can, pick up the item and just smell it for about 30 seconds. Just try to describe it. Okay, and now we're going to pick one thing to taste. It can be a food item or a drink, maybe some gum or a candy. If food is a trigger for you, you absolutely do not have to do this. You can also taste the air if there's nothing around. Again, it might be silly, but you can stick your tongue out really wide and wag it in the air, or breathe in deeply. Can you taste anything on the air? If you are okay to go ahead and do the last taste, we're going to take a sip or a bite of whatever your food item is and let it settle on your taste buds. Close your eyes, take it all in. Just take about 30 seconds to really feel it. Dance in your mouth, play on your tongue. Is it squishy? Is it hard? Is it moist? Is it dry? Is it sweet? Is it sour? What different flavors can you taste? Just sit with it for a moment. Okay, and we're done. Congratulations, you finished the 5 senses exercise. I always like to indulge in a nice long sigh. It just always helps me feel relaxed. So let's take a deep inhale and outward sigh. That's nice. And now here's the story. The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. An Aesop fable. A town mouse once visited a relative who lived in the country. For lunch, the country mouse served wheat stalks, roots, and acorns, with a dash of cold water for drink. The town mouse ate very sparingly, nibbling a little of this and a little of that. and by her manner making it very plain that she ate the simple food only to be polite. After the meal, the friends had a long talk, or rather, the town mouse talked about her life in the city, while the country mouse listened. They then went to bed in a cozy nest in the hedgerow, and slept in quiet and comfort until morning. In her sleep, the country mouse dreamed she was a town mouse, with all the luxuries and delights of city life that her friend had described for her. So the next day, when the town mouse asked the country mouse to go home with her to the city, she gladly said yes. When they reached the mansion in which the town mouse lived, they found on the table in the dining room the leavings of a very fine banquet. There were sweetmeats and jellies, pastries, delicious cheeses, indeed, the most tempting foods that a mouse can imagine. But just as the country mouse was able to nibble a dainty bit of pastry, she heard a cat mew loudly and scratch at the door. In great fear, the mice scurried to a hiding place, where they lay quite still for a long time, hardly daring to breathe. When at last they ventured back to the feast, the door opened suddenly, and in came the servants to clear the table, followed by the house dog. The country mouse stopped in the town mouse's den, only long enough to pick up her carpet bag and umbrella. "You may have luxuries and dainties that I have not," she said as she hurried away, "but I prefer my plain food and simple life in the country, with the peace and security that go with it." Poverty with security is better than plenty in the midst of fear and uncertainty. Thank you for listening. I welcome you back anytime you need to hear a comforting voice or a familiar bedtime story. But for now, let's prepare your mind and body for some much-needed rest. Start by checking in with your body and making sure you are as comfortable as possible. Place the tip of your tongue on the tissue right behind the top front teeth. Slowly exhale and empty the lungs of air. Through the nose, breathe in quietly for 4 seconds. 3, 4. Hold the breath for a count of 7 seconds. 5, 6, 7. Purse your lips and exhale forcefully through the mouth, making a whoosh sound for 8 seconds. 6, 7, 8. If you need to, you can repeat this cycle up to 4 times, but any more than 4, and you might start to feel lightheaded or dizzy. Remember that if you find it too difficult to hold your breath on the count of 7, you can use a shorter cycle of 2 seconds breathing in, hold your breath for 3.5 seconds, and exhale for 4 seconds. Good night and sleep well, my friend.